Good evening. Today's top story comes from Mexico, where authorities have confirmed the death of one of the most powerful drug cartel bosses in history. This development signals a major shift in the landscape of organized crime and has led to widespread unrest across multiple regions of the country. In this report, we'll explain what happened, who was involved, and what experts say could unfold next. What happened? Earlier today, Mexican security forces carried out a targeted operation near Zapopan, in the state of Jalisco, against Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, widely known as El Mencho. El Mencho was the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, often abbreviated CJNG, which is considered one of the most powerful criminal organizations in Mexico. According to official statements, Mexican army troops located El Mencho's position and engaged in a firefight. He was wounded during the operation and died while being transported to a medical facility. Mexican authorities have confirmed his death, calling the operation a significant victory in the country's long struggle against organized crime. Who was El Mencho? El Mencho was designated by both Mexican and U.S. authorities as a top priority target for more than a decade. The United States had placed a multi-million-dollar reward for information leading to his arrest. CJNG, under his leadership, had grown into a sprawling criminal empire, involved in drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, extortion, oil theft, and other illicit activities. Security analysts say that for nearly 15 years, El Mencho exerted an unusually tight grip on the cartel, shaping both its strategy and territorial control. Immediate aftermath. Almost instantly after the news of his death broke, violent clashes erupted in several regions of Mexico. Local authorities reported roads being blocked by burning vehicles, attacks on security checkpoints, surges in armed confrontations between rival groups. These incidents have been especially intense in Jalisco, the home base of CJNG, but signs of unrest were also reported in neighboring states. Officials have deployed additional forces, including the National Guard, to key locations to try to prevent further escalation. At least some schools in affected areas have been temporarily closed, and residents have been urged to remain vigilant. Impact on civilians and tourists. The outbreak of violence has raised concerns about public safety and travel. Cities like Guadalajara, a major urban center, in Puerto Vallarta, a popular tourist destination, have issued security notices. Tourism officials are monitoring the situation closely, as these regions normally draw thousands of international visitors, especially in the lead-up to the upcoming FIFA World Cup this summer. What experts are saying? Security analysts say that eliminating a cartel leader can yield short-term tactical gains, but can also create a power vacuum. When a single figure has held near absolute control for years, their sudden removal often leads to internal competition. In CJNG's case, researchers note there was no clear successor. Instead, the cartel is believed to be divided into multiple factions, each led by lieutenants with their own bases of power. Experts warn this could result in increased internal violence as rival cells compete, fragmentation into smaller, more unpredictable groups, a potential rise in local crime as power struggles unfold. In other words, the death of a cartel boss may reduce centralized command, but it does not necessarily end the violence his organization was responsible for. International response. The United States government confirmed that American agencies were not directly involved in the raid. However, officials reiterated their support for Mexico's efforts to combat organized crime and reduce the flow of illegal drugs. Several foreign embassies have issued travel advisories, urging visitors to stay aware of local security conditions, particularly in states bordering the U.S. What comes next? Authorities in Mexico have stressed that the operation was lawful and successful, but they are also preparing for what could be a prolonged period of instability. Officials say law enforcement will remain on high alert, especially in areas known for cartel activity. Intelligence agencies will also continue monitoring communications between criminal groups to detect any emerging threats. Closing summary. To recap, Mexican forces have killed El Mencho, leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Widespread violence has erupted in response. Security reinforcements are being deployed across key regions. analysts warn of possible internal conflict and a fragmented underworld. International authorities are watching closely.